This has been a distressing week for those who value justice and truth-telling. The conflict on the Israel Gaza border has been portrayed as the wanton slaughter of peaceful civilian protesters by the Israeli army. Such a portrayal is dishonest. Gaza is under the control of Hamas, an internationally recognized terrorist entity. It has for years attempted to invade Israel. New Zealanders may be interested to learn that Hamas's aim, according to its own statements and charter, is the killing of Israeli men, women and children. Mass murder and the destruction of Israel are its central goals. You don't need to take my word for it. A Hamas leader can be viewed online declaring in Arabic, "We will take down the border and we will tear out their hearts from their bodies." Let's step back for a moment for an overview of the situation. There are two parties in the present Gaza conflict. One party is explicitly genocidal and has shown itself willing to sacrifice its own women and children in order to score PR points. The end goal is the massacre of the other party. As it happens, the other party operates a Western-style liberal democracy much like our own and values the lives of its citizens. And it is willing to use its army to prevent the penetration of its border by its genocidal opponent. The aforementioned army acts with restraint but resorts to lethal force when other measures have been exhausted. The army of any civilized and responsible nation would do likewise. Hamas wants the Jews dead. The Jews, on the other hand, wish to live, and they will take reasonable steps to ensure that they continue to live. This is not morally complex. This is not a matter where right and wrong should be difficult to discern, but it is apparently beyond the ethical comprehension of some of our politicians, our media commentators, and our UN representatives. The death of Gazans is tragic, but it is their own leaders who are directly responsible. Most of those who have died have been killed while acting on the explicit instructions of Hamas to penetrate the border fence and to slaughter Israelis. And Hamas readily acknowledges that the majority of those killed are their own militants. And yet it is Israel, not Hamas, that is censured by the New Zealand government. Media outlets that cooperate with Hamas' cynical strategy by issuing shamefully distorted reports condemning Israel while ignoring Hamas' responsibility are themselves complicit in those deaths. By rewarding Hamas with such dishonest coverage, they encourage further bloodshed. It is time to call out our media for its Hamas-supporting distortions and to demand truthful and balanced reporting. And our political leaders, whose analysis extends only to a body count while ignoring the genocidal intentions of Hamas and the sacrifice of its own people, really need to think a little more deeply.